The loneliness that imposes itself on the lonely walker, if not met with obstinacy, knocks it down. For a single moment, the being that dominates the bodies, times, and spaces it occupies, presents itself visibly. This immortal light reinforces obstinacy. Explanations are text balloons that border on creation. Unlike other things, they seek to give meaning to these same things. But explanations are placebos that seem to heal, but only make the being conform to the story it calls life, and not delve into understanding. Music indoctrinates sound, and poetry indoctrinates words. In both, the being is present in the broadest and different forms, and the result shows the extreme limits to which the being is placed. Science is not just scientific explanation, it is proof. Attraction and repulsion are part of all creation. There is nothing that is not oriented according to this. The composition of an environment occurs through this principle. Imagination is the key to creation and transformation. Once knowledgeable of the technique, the being is enabled to act in the environment. What worries are the actions that imprison it, instead of freeing it. Madness is found on the two plates of a balance that questions whether perfect adaptation to the environment or liberation from that environment is healthy. Adaptation occurs naturally through the environmentalization of the tools imposed on the being. Liberation occurs through mastery of the science that precedes creation and environmentalization. It is the mastery of this science that gives the being the ability to move through any and all creation, acting or not, in these created universes. Omniscience is the only attribute that explains the unique and indivisible being. The greatest conflict of the skeptic is not wanting to leave skepticism as an inheritance, because of the belief in the unhappiness that skepticism can bring to its heirs. The impossible to happen is only possible because the author can rewrite what he wrote. Many believe that not even God himself, who made the law, can change it. But the sum of the events that produce tragedies is similar to the sum of the things that produce miracles. And all of this can only be rewritten by the author, who doesn't mind being contacted. The character built for a story cannot choose anything in that story, but by knowing himself, he can interfere in its construction, and, by the right means, can modify himself. Understand what the right means mean, as the created universe turns to the character who seeks the author, and knows that the right means subject him to the stories. Understand, from what is said here, why the vulgar becomes exceptional. Realize how close to impossibility the existence of a solitary character is, for it is through the other characters that he tells his story. Realize, therefore, how much history is built and maintained by complicity. An expert receives this title, and it seems enough for him to be the owner of historical truth. How many times have mathematics, physics, chemistry, logic, and statistics joined discoveries to build, sustain, and corroborate narratives whose origin is unknown, and that has purposes totally different from those that history built from the opinion of those who receive credits only for their formation. They are those who could never speak of facts not lived, and something that could only be true becomes true. Societies are built from the repercussion of illusions, amplified and sustained by the incapacity of science. Vanity is a trap that everyone falls into. In the same way, history imprisons the being. The being believes that, through history, he will come to know himself, but history is an invention,